this at my home. And I wanted to invite my children and my grandchildren, yes, and my grandchildren and my children and my neighbors and my friends up here for many years that I've lived here, and former students that became friends and former lovers, and many of them are here today. That piece was from a suite I called Julia. I wrote it in 2000. It is for a pianist for whom I have written most of my piano music over the last 20 years. And she has performed and recorded it. And she's a teacher at the Moscow Conservatory, and where I teach often. And she played this music up until about 2 years ago. She's 93 years old. And I saw her this last November, and she's still doing pretty well. We actually played for each other. It was very nice. Let's see. The reason we're here is because I couldn't do it at my home, and my dearest friend, Michelle Ali, who is the president of the Center for Cartoon Studies, said, well, why don't you do it here? And, you know, this is a remarkable institution. I mean, it's hard to believe that for 8 years, suddenly this school that teaches cartooning grew up in this town of White River, and now attracts students from all over the world, 40 students every year, and has made such a contribution to this. So we'll get on with the program now. And you know, there are, when I started teaching at Dartmouth in about 1968, 67, 68, there was a class there that I had, one of my first classes. And believe it or not, 3 of those students are here. That's kind of amazing. One of them, Rick Borden, who taught animal sciences out in Colorado, and I think he's here with his daughter Hensel, who is actually also my student. And then also in that class was Robbie Barnett, founder of the Palobolas Dance Theater. And another member of that class, who you're going to hear now, Upper Valley jazz legend, Fred Haas.
But not a former lover.
perform tonight until one of our other performers, Kojiro Umezaki, told me that he had a piece that he wanted to play with a cellist. And Gene and I knew each other pretty well. How long ago?
20 years.
It was 20 years. He agreed to come, and then he said, "Oh yeah, I know Fred. I'll play with him." I'm honored that you're here. I said to you that I had written most of my piano music over a 20-year period for Yuri in Russia. Actually, one of the first pieces that professional pieces that I wrote was a piano sonata that I wrote in 1967 for a pianist in Boston by the name of Gabriel Chodas. Gabriel and I have known each other probably almost as long, except as long as we're children, but I think probably about 50 years. And he is a professor at the New England Conservatory of Music. And he did play a sonata of mine that I wrote in 1967. But he prefers Schubert, Beethoven, and Brahms. So why not? So then in 2010, I wrote these pieces called the Scarlatti Doubles. They're based on the music of Scarlatti. And the Couperin Doubles I wrote last year. And I wanted someone to play them. And Gabriel suggested, he said, well, one of my best students ever is Minkyung Oh, whose full name is Maria Stella Minkyung Oh, in Boston. And I met her, and I heard her play, and I was so impressed. She just understood everything about the music that I had composed, and brought so much to it. And then my also very old friends, Beth Adams, a writer and painter, and her husband, Jonathan Sada, a photographer who I've known also for, I don't want to guess, 45 years or something. And they run a publishing company in Montreal, and they agreed to record the Scarlatti and Couperin Doubles. And we went to WGBH in Boston just this last November, and Minkyung recorded all of them, and the CD is released tonight. And so it's really an honor to have Minkyung play a couple of these pieces for you, wherever she is. The next performer I met on a plane from Montreal to Havana, Cuba. Nope, that's the truth. We were going to a festival in Botelho, or maybe it was in Havana. I can't remember. I can't even remember what we played, but it was quite a while ago. And so you have this biography in front of you, Kojiro Umezaki, who is most known for his remarkable performances with Uman and the Silk Road Project. And anyway, tonight he's going to play a piece which is a fairy tale, which he will, I guess it's self-explanatory. And it's for shakuhachi, which is a Japanese traditional flute, which is his instrument. And cello, Eugene is going to accompany, and also a singing bowl, which one of our performers, called Botelho, has volunteered to play. So, Kojiro Umezaki.
Thanks to Eugene and Botelho for joining in on this. What's that?
Juan
Blanco, yeah. Yeah, Juan, yeah. This is also to Juan Blanco, yes. Wow, amazing. I think many years before meeting John on this airplane down to Havana, which I didn't have a visa, as it turns out. I got on the plane, I didn't have a visa, and John got me through somehow. I think I knew of John's music from the World Music Bureau of Jon Appleton, is that right? Yeah, so probably 1986, I picked up a copy from our music department at Lafayette College. So maybe following in along those lines, a little bit of music and theater. One of the most famous folk tales from Japan, Tsuru no Ongaishi, as they call it, repayment from a crane, and maybe I'll set the scene with a proposition, an unusual proposition, which many of you who live in this area, I know you know snow very well, and you've probably heard the sound of snow, but the proposition is, what is the sound of snowfall? flies the crane towards the mountains. You see, on most winter days, the old man walks a distance through the heavy snow to sell firewood in town. And this day, this walk started no differently. "I'll return in the evening," he said as always to his wife. They never had children. And he left their very modest house and started his trek, the firewood bundled on his back. About halfway to town, by a familiar group of trees, is an unfamiliar sight. Bursts of movement in the white snow strung together by brief and unpredictable moments of respite. Dancing snow? He thought incredulously. No, a young and elegant crane was caught in a trap and was desperately trying to break free. And without hesitation, the man disengaged the trap and off flew the crane towards the mountains. "I'm back!" the man said, sliding open the door. I didn't make much money today, but I feel good about one thing that happened." "Oh yeah? What was that?" "Well, a crane was caught in a trap, so I just decided to let it..." Someone is at the door, and sliding it open against the backdrop of darkness and heavy falling snow is a shivering, young and beautiful woman. "I was on my way to visit relatives and got lost. Could I stay the night here?" "Oh, of course, come in, please, come in. And days pass. The young woman is still at the house. In short, she's been helping with cleaning, cooking, conversation, making what would otherwise be yet another long and bleak winter, which you know all about here. One full of life and cheer. Even laughter is now common. But following one such moment, the young woman lowers her voice and says, "I didn't tell you the whole story. Both of my parents passed away recently, and I was sent to live with relatives whom I've never met. I enjoy being with you two so much. Rather than living with people I don't know, would you take me in as your daughter?" Well, shocked, but pleased, the couple agree, and a new family is born. But how with such little income could they feed three? "I have an idea," says the daughter. "When you go into town today, Father, please buy some silk thread, and we can weave some fabric on that old loom of ours, and we can sell that." So that night, with a spool of newly purchased thread in hand, the daughter decides to get started, but she warns her parents, "Promise me, please, do not come into the room while I'm weaving. Please promise." "We promise, yes," they say, although somewhat perplexed, and the daughter enters the room, closes the door behind her, and gets to work. minutes pass, with nothing but the constant sound of the loom coming from the closed room. Finally, after the third night, the daughter emerges completely disheveled, weak, and thin. Please take this fabric and sell it in town. Now, the wealthiest merchant in town rarely comes to the market himself to purchase goods, but the news about the most incredible piece of fabric spread so quickly that he had to see it in person. He cut through the crowd, took one look at the fabric, and said, "A year's worth of rice for 10 people in exchange for this," and the crowd oohed and awed. Still recovering, the daughter smiled at the father's news from his day in town. And the three hardly spoke about it. But weeks later, the parents finally could no longer resist asking about that exquisite fabric. "I will weave you more fabric," says the daughter, still thin and frail, but this time she seems reluctant. And again the same morning, "Promise me, please, do not come into the room while I'm weaving." And again, the same days and nights of uninterrupted work. At the dawn of the third day, man and woman can no longer keep their curiosity contained. Just one peek. They agree. And there at the loom is a crane, pulling feathers one by one out of her own body with her beak and weaving them meticulously into the silk threads. The man and woman gasp. The crane hears it, it turns, and it says, "I am the crane you saved from the trap earlier this winter. I was so grateful that I came here to repay you for your kindness. But now that you know who and what I am, I must go." And with that, all doors in the house slide open, and off flies the crane towards the mountains.
No, it was about 1995. I wrote a piece for a French friend of mine, Jean-Claude Risset, who lives in the town of Marseille in France, and we see each other pretty often. This is a piece that has never been played in public. It's too racy. Actually, it's for piano, four hands. And some of you probably don't know that you can play piano music with two people down here and two people up here. And that's how music used to be played before there were phonograph records. People would play that music in their own home. So I wrote this piece, and it's called, it doesn't matter what it's called, Quatre Regards sur le Parc du Roi d'Espagne, which is where Jean-Claude lives. And every time we see each other, we play it, but it's, again, never been played in public because, well, He lives over in Marseille. I live in White River Junction. But my friend Yuri Spitzen, who I didn't know was a pianist really, I just know him for 20 years as a composer. I met him at the Theremin Center at the Moscow Conservatory about in the early 90s, and he's remained my friend since. And so he agreed that he would play this piece with me this evening. And so it's in 4 short movements. And one describes the calanque, and one describes the mistral, and one describes the samitoir. It doesn't matter. The mood of the piece is quite clear. And, so Yuri plays up here. And I play down there. Botelho. And in some cases, he wrote the music. I mean, he wrote the vocal part, and I wrote the piano part, and then we did a kind of electronic part together. And these pieces became pretty, a lot of people like them. We've subsequently performed them in Sweden, in Salvador, Brazil, in Moscow, in Yekaterinburg, in Atlanta, in Jackson, Mississippi, and New Orleans. Who knows what's next? Maybe Hawaii. Anyway, so the name of this piece, it doesn't mean anything. It does mean something, but it's not going to help you to know the meaning of it. It's called De Herrlichkeit in der Bundelgott. No, De Herrlichkeit Loch in der Bundelgott. Sprechen Sie Deutsch? You get it. Das ist gut. Okay, are we doing it?
Yeah. Sorry, I have to stretch. Yeah. I usually do a stretch with where I stick my tongue out. I'm not going to do that. I'll look away and do it.
Let's go. Yeah, just a minute.
All right, hold on. See, now he tells me, let's go.
And then I forgot I have to have a stopwatch because that's how we know how to stay together. That's true. It's okay, Willow. All right, whenever you're ready.
Shira
I mean, he started pretty early. I remember when he was 3, he used to run little cars up and down the keyboard. But he always was a musician. He danced around the house. He played all kinds of music. He studied piano until I killed an interest in the piano for him. I was too strict a teacher. But I tried. But anyway, his interest in music completely diverged from mine, and I had no idea that he would become a professional musician. But he left home when he was 19 years old. He went to New York City, and he made a terrific career for himself as a singer-songwriter, as a member of a band, as a producer, as a songwriter for other artists, and among his other accomplishments is being a wonderful father to his 4-year-old. And so, you know, it's sort of a great pleasure to introduce to you, well, I call him Jason, but everybody else calls him J.J. Appleton.
Thank you so much. I just want to say for how grateful my family Well, I don't know why I decided to play this one. My dad's a traveler. It's kind of like a traveling song. I've been to Primrose Hill in Pittsburgh, Birmingham and Beverly Hills. I drunk wine with kings and killers. I've been broke, I had my coffers filled. I've been lonely and defeated, happy and completed by a love I thought would never die. But somewhere in the middle, between too much and too little, is currently where I reside. Oh yeah, I got just enough to keep me satisfied. Just enough to get me through the low and the high. Well, I've been loved and I've been hated. I've been welcomed and I've been denied. All kicked out and ripped off and baited, and then ushered to the front of the line. All from Spokane to Spain, it never remains the same in any circumstance. Between my losses and gains, the joy and the pain, well, I always got a second chance. Oh yeah, I got just enough to keep me satisfied. Just enough to get me through the low and the high. Oh yeah, from Del Rey all the way to Delhi, Monaco to Mozambique. I've been banned and I've been bored. I've been the special guest star this week. Oh, I seen the spotlight glare. I had my share of dead air. No time to read my own reviews. I think I might be charged. No cause for alarm. I'm paid in full in all my dues. Oh yeah, I got just enough to keep me satisfied. Yeah, just enough to get me through the lows and the highs. Thank you so much. You have no idea how intimidating that was doing it in front of these musicians here. Wow. But that's a good thing too, right? A test. So, oops. Oh, I'm this. So, I really broke it. I'm not nervous at all. This is going great. So, wow. I've never actually done that before. So, just quickly, I know all of you know, a lot of you know my dad real well, and maybe some not as well, or some really, really, really well. And I feel like, I've known him all my life, but you don't really get to know somebody until you look at their Facebook page. So, I found some very interesting things out about my dad. So he belongs to some Facebook groups you should know about. One is the Dartmouth Electroacoustic Music Group. That makes sense to me, I think that's good. The other is the Consortium of Vermont Composers. Another one that makes sense. This other one is the New Orleans Ladies Arm Wrestling. Then, if you use Facebook, which I'm sure none of you do, you can like things. So these are things that my dad likes. One is the Hotel Coolidge. Oh, yeah. the Center for Cartoon Studies, the Garage Center for Contemporary Culture in Gorky Park, Moscow, the Hartford Police Department, Russian Jews, my Swedish roots. Let me cover the ears on this one. Another one called Fuck Yeah Feminists. The next one, Walmart. And we'll leave it at that. This fell too, like it's falling. Yeah. But actually, speaking of liking, you know, I owe all my first music I heard was from my father, music that he wrote, and also this record collection that I wish I could duplicate it. It was so amazing, from Fats Waller to Leonard Bernstein to you know, B.B. King and Sonny Terry and Barney McGee and all this great, great music. You know, Hawaiian Gabby Pawanui. So you know, I just thought of like what was the song that really got me, you know, into the blues, you know, and it was from one of my dad's records. It's a B.B. King song from live at the Cook County Jail. So I thought I'd play a little version of that tonight. Yeah. So, again, I just want to thank you so much, and it means so much to my dad and so much to all of us that you came here tonight. And this is a song that my dad, that I wrote that my dad likes, and so he said, don't play that one. So here I am, being a good son. I was thinking about Sunday, how I woke up in a dream, and you walking down the runway, and it was such a crazy scene. You pulled me in, we started running, and then my heart began to pound. And with only the air beneath us, oh, we never touched down. I know something about flying. I swear that inside I'm dying to fly away from here forever. Take my hand, we'll go together. You and me were living in a dream, and now I feel so connected in a way I never had before. And I know that you get affected because I'm wearing all those scars. Here we built a fortress, and we hide behind the walls, and nothing's gonna free us until we rise above it all. And I know something about flying. I swear that inside I'm dying to fly away from here forever. Take my hand, we'll go together. You and me, we're living in a dream. And it's all about letting go. Plant a seed to watch it grow. Say goodbye to what you know. And it's all about moving on. So click your heels and we'll be gone. I know something about flying. I swear that inside I'm dying to fly away from here forever. Take my hand, we'll go together. You and me, we're living in a dream. go.
Really? Is this a macro?